What's up, my friends? All right, here in Lisbon, Portugal, I just got done with a client. We were working on third finger dexterity. The way that I sort of view this is that the third finger is the weakest one. Almost by default, the pinky can be, just because it doesn't have the muscle mass because it's so much smaller. The only thing is, if we kind of put our hand down, our thumb can come up, our first finger, our second finger, our third finger can barely come up, and our pinky can come up. So what happens now is, even though the pinky is pretty weak, just because it's small, it's actually hindered by the lack of dexterity of our third finger. So by working on the dexterity and the strength of our third finger, it's going to help our pinky much more. And then our first and second finger sort of operate totally fine on their own. So a great exercise just to start is just doing a 3-4, third finger, fourth finger, all the way down. Now I like that because it doesn't rely on the anchor of the second finger or first finger there. Right now we're sort of anchored down with our two safe fingers and then the third and fourth. So that's a great one. If you can throw a stretch in there, right? It's a little harder, but just to try to practice a little bit of a stretch. And even if you move it up here maybe a little bit, that might be a little bit easier. What we were really getting into, some really great exercises that we were diving into today, were to really split up this sort of pattern that the lack of dexterity of the third finger wants to keep falling into. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move, we're going to anchor, but we're going to move where the third finger wants that anchor to go. So the first phase of this exercise, and it's not that hard, we're moving it up wherever we want to go. Let's say our first finger, second finger, right, on the top string, and then we're going to switch strings for the next two. So, right, and then we're going to just jump down here to the fourth string and then go back. So now we have, and we can move this pattern down. Now the goal with that is definitely to start building up speed. What's great about that is it allows this anchor, and if just by moving down one string, it's going to start getting a little bit more separation between those two fingers and a little bit more strength in that third finger, because that's where the split is, right? And that's where the focus is. You can feel, I know that a lot of my clients do, and I do as well, especially if I haven't played for a day or two, is if I just do my 1, 2, 3, 4s as a warm-up, I can feel the lack of pressure. I feel the pressure here, and this is a little bit less. Now, if you're going for speed and you're doing these, right, check that, slow that video down if you can record yourself. That's usually what happens if we start building up speed, especially that refractory muscle isn't that good on our third finger to pop it up out of the way. So it's either trying to get out of the way already or sort of following suit of what the pinky's doing, right? So as the pinky's coming up, so is the third finger, right, when we get there. So a great exercise too is just on your way down. I usually just do that, stop on that third finger for twice as long. So one, that sort of helps. Now, taking the exercise that we just did, let's now do a dexterity split between the third finger and the pinky. All right, so same thing, just a 1, 2, 3, and then the pinky is going to go down. Great exercise for the pinky, which already has a bit of dexterity in it, but it's also going to help that split between those two, right? And then same thing, fourth string, but then that pinky goes back to the fifth string, and that becomes our pattern. Right? Nice little pattern. The last part of these exercises is going to be just doing a little bit bigger of a string skip. The pattern changes a little bit, where we're sort of staying on just the sixth and the fourth string. So if I do the first exercise, but 1, 2, and then skip to the fourth string, this gets a little bit more intense. And then we stay on the fourth string and then go to the top. Right, so the pattern's a little bit different, but you're just sixth string, fourth string, back to the sixth string, and then here. Right, and then ultimately the goal is going to be to get some speed with that. That's also a great right hand exercise. And lastly, the one where it just stays with the three fingers and the pinky. Same thing, we can split. String, fourth string, fifth string, third string. Right, and that kind of idea. So just mess around with those, see how it goes, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.